Well, let's head to Egypt now. The country is set to lower its customs exchange rate. The new rate will be set for 1 month in what's the first such drop in 4 months. Now, Egypt began setting a monthly fixed customs exchange rate in January, following the flotation of its pound currency in November. It has since set the rate monthly. The customs exchange is set at a rate that is slightly lower than the official exchange rate. Last November, the CBE freely floated the pound from its fixed rate against the dollar as part of a set of economic reforms. Now, Egypt's foreign reserves edged up to $28.6 billion at the end of April from $28.5 billion at the end of March. The country's foreign reserves have been climbing since Egypt secured a $12 billion 3-year loan from the International Monetary Fund back in November. Well, we are now joined by CGTN's Yasser Hakim in Cairo for more on this. Yasser, as always, welcome to the show. Now, the government does say that this is an effort to control inflation in the country. Give us some more insight into the rationale behind this move.
Yes, it all started after the flotation of the Egyptian pound, and a lot of the traders has shot the prices up, and we've seen the prices go up by 100%, 150%, and even more after the pound was devalued, and that caused some issues because you have traders and importers who have had deals and contracts according to the old price, and then after the floating of the pound you have a new price, and you have a new customs union, and therefore it was demanded by the importers that there would be a fixed customs rate, and this customs rate would help at least keep the markets a bit stable when you're importing goods and keep the prices at least a bit under control. But without this fixed rate, the prices were really high, and this had an impact on the inflation. And that's why this step, once it started around at the beginning of the year, it's been going down. It started at 18.5%, and now we're talking about 16% or 16.5, I think, and therefore it's been going down, which shows there is an improvement in the situation, and at least some improvement in the overall issue of the Egyptian pound.
Now, Yasser, you did mention the importers, but give us some more insight into who will benefit most from this move by the government.
All right, it's very important just to notice that Egypt imports around 80% of its needs, and that's why the customs import tax is important, because any changes would affect the prices of all commodities in Egypt if you have 80% of your needs are brought from outside the country. Obviously, Egypt is working hard on trying to lower that number and try to increase exports or increase at least local production. So benefit will go to the, mainly it's supposed to go to the persons, to the population, because you have prices of all the goods that have been imported are shooting up, and because of the customs, also because of the devaluation of the pound and the customs rate, and that's why the prices were increasing. Even traders would put numbers haphazardly because there was no control. Once this fixed price was put, the customs rate, it controlled prices a bit, and prices are not increasing as much as before, and this will be for the benefit of the people and also of the importers who lost a lot of money or could lose a lot of money if this import rate was not fixed and customs rate was not fixed. They would not be able to make any transactions, or at least to consider what will be the price of the product next month, because they don't know what the price of the customs will be at the point, and also the price of the Egyptian pound.
Now, yeah, so let's talk a little bit about inflation. Now, last week we did see the central bank keep its key interest rates unchanged. Are its efforts to keep inflation in check working so far for the central bank?
It is working, a bit slow. People need more, or they're saying they need more, because they have been affected by the huge or the high inflation after the pound was floated. We were talking about 32% per month. That's very high. And but this month and the last month, we've seen considerable improvement. It went down to 29.6. And that's considered improvement if you know that this is the first time maybe in a year that we've seen the inflation going down. So it's going steadily down, and there was no need for the central bank to increase the interest rates. It already did so last month in late June. It went up to 18.75% and 19.25%, which was very high. And the central bank finds this would help strengthen the Egyptian pound. And when you have 90% interest rate on the Egyptian pound, you find people trying to save the local currency rather than to go to the hard currency, the dollar and the euro. And this would strengthen the Egyptian pound against the US dollar and the hard currency. And actually it has been stable for the last month or so. We have not seen any more weakness in the Egyptian pound against the dollar. And this is a sign that there is improvement, a bit slow for some, but at least we've seen a better readings in the last couple of months than the year before.
Well, many thanks for those insights, Yasser. Yasser Hakim joining us there in Cairo.